Before we move on to the shape tool, I wanted to demonstrate how you go about adding a stroke to a path. And this is done using a brush. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my image mode from grayscale to RGB. So I'm going to select Image, Mode, RGB color. Next, I'm going to go in and select my brush tool. I'm going to select hard round brush, and I'm going to set this down to about 6 pixels. Okay. Make sure the color is one that is easily seen. And now over here in the path panel, I can select stroke path with brush. And you can see my path now has an orange stroke on it. Furthermore, if I were to want to fill my path, I would select my fill color for my foreground color. Then I would come over here and I would select the fill path with foreground color option. Now I can go back under my stroke path if I wanted it to be purple and click that and it would make it purple. I Command or Control Z to undo that, to leave that color, the orangey red that I had. And that's it. Super simple, easy to do. Notice I had to have the brush selected in order to access these two options on my path panel, the stroke option and the fill option. Now, additionally, if I were to create another path, I'm going to do a new layer, Command Shift N, click OK, and I'm going to use my pen tool, and I'll just create a quick path there. Now, I can go to my brush and I can select various types of brushes, and I can stroke my path using one of these brushes. So if I load natural brushes, I'll say OK. I'm not going to save anything there. I can select the stipple. Purple's fine. And I can stroke that path with that brush. I can make it larger. And you see it's stroking the airplane as well, but you get the idea. So it's that simple. Create my path with my pen tool. There we are. Now I'm going to select a brush, load a different brush maybe. We go in here, maybe even select, I'll reset the brushes. Click OK. Come down here, select maple leaves. Maybe select a nice fall color. And there we go. Super simple to do. Now, one last thing to do with paths is if you have an image, I'm going to do File, Open. I'm going to go back to Chapter 12 and I'm going to open the sunflower. So I'll click Open. You can use your pen tool to create selections. So let's say I was wanting to select this sunflower. And I would honestly be going in and removing most of these handles as I go through here to create a much more accurate representation. And I'm just holding down my Alt or Option key, removes those handlebars, makes it a little bit easier to go in and get an accurate selection or path created here. Alright, couple more. And so if you were wanting to create a selection of this sunflower, what you would do is you would go around and you would outline the entire flower. And then after you had completed creating your paths with the pen tool, you would go to your path panel. I'm going to come back here to this first one and we're just going to select just these few. So I see that circle appear by my pen tool cursor. Click, and that's a closed path. Now right here in the bottom of the path panel, I can load the path as a selection. And so that's what I'm choosing to do here. And since I've got that selected, now I can do a Command J. It's creating a new layer off just that area I had selected using my pen tool. And I can refine my selection by feathering, etc., as we learned about earlier in previous tutorials. Additionally, I could use that selection and create a mask as well. And so all I did was create my selection and then click my mask button at the bottom of my layers panel. And so that's using it to create paths, to make selections, to make shapes, vector shapes that can be stroked and filled, saved for future reference, masked, etc.